Hey, this is Sara Abrons, Executive Editor of Rave Publications, and I'm here on the last day of ISE 2017 in Amsterdam with Charl Coetzee, is that right?
That's excellent.
Okay, and he's the founder of Cube, an interesting little, I guess, media box, kind of. It's more like a
platform applications environment. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so why don't you explain it to me like you just did a minute ago?
Sure. Yeah, think of it like Android, except specifically for enterprises, which enterprises are finding Android is just not a suitable environment for them because firstly it's designed to be consumer facing, so it kind of always expects the screen to be present, somebody to punch buttons to do things like updates or fix problems, and also security is a big concern. Like you might get an Android box from a Chinese vendor. We've plugged these things into our networks, and you have no idea what they're information they're collecting and what they're sending off. So yeah, we are servicing specifically people that need to build different applications and run it in an environment, in an operating system that's secure, and they don't want to have to invest in developing their own management environment and software platform to do that.
Okay, so it's an alternative to Android on an enterprise level, like a lot of the people around here are selling for use in digital signage or other kinds of media networks. So tell me a little bit about the applications, how you've seen this used so far.
Excellent. So as an example, in the retail setting, if you are a media company or a music company, or you're a systems integrator wanting to do something like play music in an in-store environment, you need some kind of a device that is able to do that. So we've seen people come around with like a Raspberry Pi as an example. They've got to write their own Linux operating system to run on that. They've got to write their own code. That becomes a treadmill, and you can't ever get off of it. Like many of these companies, they have one developer, two developers, they get it 97% done, the last 3% never completes, because there's always new security vulnerabilities that get discovered, new changes that have to be made. That developer can never go on holiday, and that's just simply not a sustainable solution.
Okay, and our audience is mostly AV integrators, and can you tell me a little bit about how you would see an AV integrator like reselling this and supporting it? Would they build apps for it, or would you do that? Like, tell me more how you see that working.
So there's essentially two approaches that can be taken. So AV integrators or equipment manufacturers, wanting to bring new products to market, they may have their own hardware, their own boxes basically, and we're more than happy to license our platform to them. And what that will give them is a solid, secure Linux-based operating system, which is completely locked down, has got atomic firmware updates, has got the ability to deliver applications to it that can make it do whatever they want it to do, and have that all managed with patches and firmware updates remotely, so that they don't have to invest or be on that treadmill. We're essentially doing that for them. So that's one model. Another model might be they may choose one of our reference boxes, like as an example, this box over here, or Raspberry Pi, or any one of the boards that we've ported to already, and they can either come with an existing application, or we can develop it for them and wrap it up and deploy it in our environment.
Okay, so how is it, like, do you buy the box? Do you buy a license per endpoint? How does it work pricing wise?
Yeah, so typically you would buy the box. So you would either bring your own box, bring your own device, or you would buy a box, and then there's a ongoing licensing fee typically, which is going to depend on exactly what you're doing with the box.
And you said you're also able to develop custom applications if a school or a retail organization wants it. Can you give us an example of something like that?
Sure. So we've worked, for instance, with one of the big media companies in the world. Like if names like Mood Media, Play Network. I'm not permitted to say which one of these companies it is, but essentially they've had a Java application, which is a music player developed for PC environments, and we took it, ported it, so that it could run in this headless environment. So when I mean headless, what I mean by that is the fact that it operates by itself, and it's managed completely remotely, like it's a hands-off, no-touch. You don't have to fiddle with it to correct problems. It can be completely diagnosed remotely. So that's one example. We've also done cases recently, as an example, where there's a retailer that wants to play in-store music, and they also have a lighting system, and then at certain times they want the lights to be synchronized with the songs, and then DMX commands have to be sent. So that might be an application we've developed, or a virtual jukebox, which is kind of a neat one where. A media company wanted to, they own basically label music, a massive library of label music. They hold the licenses for it, and they wanted to develop a system where pub proprietors could, instead of having a big physical jukebox with a coin box, they could take, patrons could take their mobile phones, request tracks, pay for it online, and all they had was the music. And so we were able to provide them with all the other bits. It's basically components that we assemble for them from in our platform.
So if an integrator is interested, what should they do? You have a website where they can check out more information?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is CubeMC, so cube and the letters mc.com, and it talks a little bit about the various tracks of business that we have there, and obviously our contact particulars are on there. They can get a hold of us anytime through the website and the contact form.
Well, thanks very much, Charl. It was great to talk to you here on the last day of ISE 2017. We'll be going around shooting more videos, so be sure to check them out below. Thanks.